Good afternoon, Mr. President. And I want to use this medium to talk to you. Please, look at the youth of Nigeria. We are really suffering.
Politics plays its part in everything that defines us as a sovereign entity. Isn't it right to discuss what makes it tick? When the main actors converge in the power corridors to make decisions that affect the next meal, shouldn't we probe even deeper?
Nigeria is suffering. The suffering is too much.
When it comes to the complexities of politics, we strive to give it clarity, to deepen your understanding as the listener.
The decisive factor will be knowledgeable leadership committed to good governance.
Make it a date with Oᴘᴇɪᴇᴅ and Saeed Fuad on Midweek Politics every Wednesday from 1 to 3 p.m. on your top dial, Mainland 98.3 FM. Politics, it's a whole meal.
Political enemies, they don't want you to succeed. Have you just realizing that? No matter what I do, they will still abuse me.
No food to eat, no light to see, no water to drink.
Well, it's a beautiful Wednesday afternoon, and it's always a pleasure to have you join us. Mɪᴅ-Wᴇᴇᴜ is here, and Saeed Fuad is also here. Together, we'll all have a very robust engagement on the show today as we give you updates on the probe going on around the fake agency. Well, for now, it's been alleged to be a fake agency until we get the outcome. And it's a very interesting conversation because this thing is going on three fronts. Remember that the embattled DG, Prince Aɗeyemi, has been charged to court. The president had also given the ICPC a presidential order and 30 days period to investigate the matter. And of course, the House of Representatives has set up a committee and to also investigate the matter, being headed by the member representing Panshikanke Kanami, the House of Representatives, and that's right, Honorable Yusuf Adamu. They started their sitting on Monday, and some of the updates we're getting is that they've started inviting, parties that are being mentioned in the old probe. Today they're expecting to have the leadership of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, being led by the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Lady Bianca Ojukwu. They're actually expecting. Also, we heard on Monday that the ICPC had actually quizzed the Chief of Staff to the President. But we'll have update on that for you on the show today. And like I also said, in a couple of weeks, the people of Osun will go to the polls again to choose who governs them for the next 4 years. I mean, you have all of the candidates of 16 political parties. So is it going to be a case of reinforcing what they have by establishing the Accord Party candidate, that's the sitting governor, or perhaps it's going to be the APC, or maybe the PDP, or maybe they would even go the way of the SDP, or perhaps the African Action Congress candidate in the state would take over from the sitting governor, who is also running for a second term. We look into all of that on the show today, and it seems it's a season of probe and investigation from the National 2026 Appropriation Bill. Before it was signed into law to become a budget, people had actually questioned the role of the National Assembly in all of this. Remember, even the case of the embattled DG of the PFIPC as well, there were questions around how is budgetary allocation got, into the national budget. On the soundbite, questioning a lot of things as regards where we are as a people and what the outcome of the 2027 elections could be, if not areas in Osun as hot spots, and they've been flagged over reported cases of violence. So I will look on the concerns of violence that have been occurring in Osun State for the past months. The reported cases of unexplainable killing not 2 weeks ago, and the governor raised concerns about the fact that the commissioner of police in the state is not exactly cooperating with him. Well, a lot of concerns were raised, including the Inspector General of Police alleged house. So those were the concerns that the Inspector General of Police, IGP Tunji Disu, also raised when he visited the governor of Osun State. We look into that. Then we'll also look at his build up to the 2027 election of the PDP. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar hired to look at the Trump's administration and, of course, the Congress. So it's a full schedule of conversation on the show today. You know, I would always do it on the turn of 2:45. On turn of 2:15, we'll open the phone line again. It is midweek politics. Side forward, it's another Wednesday afternoon, and I know that as much as it is the Osun State election, we've been appealing to the people that election no be war. It is not a do or die. All of these reported cases of killings, violence, abductions, torture, intimidation, I'm not sure that is what, no disrespect to the state of Osun, but if you're having cases like this in politics or governance of Osun, an isolated election, by the way, what would happen if this were to be Kano or Rivers or Lagos? It begs about 5 weeks ago or 4 now there were no cases of violence. There were no reported cases of killings and all of that. But Osun State seems to be boiling over at the moment, to the point that even the Inspector General of Police had to move down to the state and had a meeting with the Commissioner of Police and Governor. Another chance for INEC to prove that they are getting ready for the 2027. By the way, the 2027 general election is just 178 days from today. So it's not a 7 election in 2024. We tell you that for you, a voter, you think election is 4 years. For a typical Nigerian politician, every day, in fact, the day you got sworn into office, you're already calculating your next election if you want to go for second time. And that would reflect, it's a whole lot, 178 days more for Nigerians to go to the polls and choose what happens in the next. Talk about Osun State. The stories around the build-up have not exactly been as encouraging as we would want. Governors and candidates and all of that. But what do you make of the build-up to the Osun State governorship election, which is next month? It's less than a month.
Good afternoon, Mr. Matthew Kodwa. My pleasure.
Thank you.
To be doing this with you this afternoon. The reports are very troubling. Very to the violence. This recently reported cases of an attempt by a faction of the NURTW to take over parks and garages in Osun State simply tells you the level of desperation. Opposition, the ruling party, but it wasn't as toxic, it wasn't as problematic. Again, maybe because those that should have caused a problem all endorse one person.
They've used prostration to
capture all of them. So because there was virtually no real opposition in the last Ekiti election. All former governors.
397,000 to less than 50,000. That's crazy.
That's almost 100%.
So and almost all the former governors who would have caused trouble. I think I remember, was it one of the former governors who said, any attempts one of the governorship aspirants said that he remembered when he had come, the governor of Ekiti came to his house, and when he left, his wife said, you see, someone who has he's been around, he's worked.
He was the secretary of the formation of Ekiti State.
So he's worked, so he's a person of the institution and the state as it were. So I think that was what accounted for peace in the election. Even if I supported the governor,
Shegoni, Afe Babalola,
everyone
not only supported him,
campaign for him.
The who is who, the political elites all came out almost like a consensus to endorse the government fields. They have cases of unresolved political rivalry. And if you look at what Osun has become, those who have ruled the state, for example, we don't know what Mɪᴅ-Wᴇᴇᴜ, the former governor, we don't know where he stands on the issue. He's working for the ADC. But you know that in political calculation, there will be political considerations for the advantage of the opposition. As it stands, unless there are things we don't know, it would appear that he would prefer, no matter what happens with the ADC, for Adeleke to take a second time.
Yes.
Now, on the other side of the APC, apart from the candidate Ambo that they like to call Ambo, people are saying that most of these violence are coming from, allegedly, the armed allegations. I was a bit disappointed when the IGP was before the governor and was telling the governor to his face that, look, I heard that you are keeping criminals in the government house. And you saw that the governor was taken aback. He felt a bit that, look, that's not even a conversation
we should be having here
in public. You know, it's almost as if you want to openly embarrass the governor.
Indicting him in the public.
Indicting him in the public, especially when his invitation had come from the company. Now appears to be supervising the violence and the activities of the opposition in the state. And then you came in as an IGP. And then while addressing the governor, you say, oh, people have said that you are keeping people. And the governor told him, I will open up the place for you. The police and IGP.
It was unwise.
It was not a wise statement to have made right there in the open before. Look, I am sure that they would have had what you call closed door conversation.
Before they came to that
and
open.
that kind of statement is only fit in a closed door conversation. That Mr. Governor, as you are complaining about others, I also have complaints about if I have this petition, and they are saying that in this government house you have about that there are criminals here.
There are that these people are causing it. They are finding,
their way into the government house.
They are finding coverage into the government house.
But
to look like the governor is personally harboring them.
But to even
it's a direct accusation,
the governor, you know. So, but I felt that, look, if there were enough evidence, the IGP could have had that discussion in a closed door
in
session,
a very closed door session,
with the governor. But Oᴘᴇᴇ, look at this one now. I listened to one of the House of Reps members in Osun State. I was watching him on TV yesterday, last night. And what he said is that this is a strategic violence. Strategic because there are people who want to hijack NURTW. So when he said that, I was like, hijacking, what? You know, pointed us to the issue of logistics.
Ahead of the election.
That we should remember that it is the NURTW that supplies vehicles and drivers to INEC to move election materials around. And that of the entire electoral process.
Distribution of sensitive materials.
That it appears that they've taken over the police in Osun. They have the commissioner team election materials. It was not going to be an INEC thing alone. Remember that the people who move these things around, Oᴘᴇᴇ, can either also sabotage the process.
Seriously.
So now the shocking thing, because I saw one park to another park, Oᴘᴇᴇ, from one motor park to another motor park. Now, a particular factional leader of the NURTW, they call him Kazeem Oyewole Aṣírí-Ẹníbà, the nickname says Aṣírí-Ẹníbà.
Cypher, why did you
I was not, you know, that this Aṣírí-Ẹníbà was the one that now brought in thugs, and the allegation is that he's working for the APC and that they want to forcefully take over all the motor parks in Osun State, and that if, again, on the day of election, they can have a control of how materials are distributed. But there's also a counter accusation that there's a Nuruddin Wakili, they call him Alowonle, who is also said to be the current chairman of the NURTW, who is said to be an ally of the current governor. So to show you that politicians have put all their hands in these things. The governor is now saying that, look, he might, like Seyi Makinde did in Oyo State, ban NURTW activities and then go back to the arrangement of parks management.
And that's what the governor is threatening.
And then union can be banned from existing. It happened before in Lagos. It has happened in other states. And that if they continue this violence, nobody's going to be able to forcefully take over the garages. He would rather go back to the arrangement of having the state running a parks and garages management outfit. But again, look, this cannot be about service to the people.
At all, not
at all. If it's about service to people, you shouldn't be having this level of, you know. So Osun, and if you look at the story that is connected to this Oᴘᴇᴇ, you can see that even the local government, that there's trouble in the land towards the election in Osun State, and they flagged Oshogbo, particularly, that's the capital city, and the entire Iṛewolé local government as the flashpoints of the possible outbreak of violence ahead and during these elections. Now, what then should be the role of the police? First thing, to do the right thing to protect Osun indigenes before, during, and after the elections. You know, from what the IGP did when he visited Osun State, he does not appear like a man who would change that commissioner. Ordinarily, when you have a governor complaining like that, the right thing is to change the commissioner.
Yes.
Getting another commissioner that will be... Look, we are talking about the safety of the people. This is not the safety of politicians alone. We must have a police, and that's why we are also talking about it. It has killed people, innocent people. It has killed ordinary people in Osun State. And as it stands, it is looking like we might not get that. This will be, I think, the last off-cycle election we'll have before the general elections. Whatever happens in Osun State is going to set the tone, create a narrative for what is to come in 2027, and that's my fear.
All right. I'm sure that's a day before the election, where, of course, we'd expect the people to, go to the polls. A lot of local governments, like Ife Central, Ilesha East, Ilesha West, Ede North, Ede South, Igbo, Ejigbo, Ayedade, Olorunda, Osogbo. Those are local governments that have been flagged. Of course, Osun State has 30 local governments and one area council, which is it ahead of the election. Iwo, which is regarded as one of the largest towns in the state, is also a very hot spot. That a lot of concerns are being raised around the utterances of some of the traditional rulers in these major towns. Osun is one state that the traditional institutions almost commands the same power that the political institution commands. People pay equal respect of some of the traditional rulers that we have. So, the election will be conducted on the 15th of August across 332 wards and 3,763 polling units in this hope that people would behave themselves. I think at this point, it's very impossible to, forcefully get people to act normal. But we'll have to find a way to also push it back to them. Before we leave this Osun election conversation, the governor had the control of the park management away from the institutions of the NURTW, and then the government would control it, almost like what we have, in Lagos as we speak. The governor had also come out and said that, listen, there's violence. Where does this put the credibility of this election? I'm going to start with you, Mr. Matthew Okodwa, the credibility around him. However, the media kept saying that they're off-cycle elections, by-elections, that would prove the test of his credibility and the readiness of INEC. At the time the election was held in Ekiti State, there were also by-elections to some vacant senatorial district and House of in Kano, in Nasarawa, in Rivers, and all of that. Whatever happens in those elections, it's electoral committee. But how much of another litmus test with these Osun elections? Because Ekiti felt like an easy pass for INEC for obvious reasons. Everyone was on the same board across political parties with the governor. But Osun State is looking more like it's gradually turning into a volatile space that may not even look on major tests. With this election be for INEC ahead of the 2027 general election that is just 178 days away from today?
Apart from being a major test, it should also provide a major opportunity. Is it because we want to serve the public?
The passion is high.
The passion to serve. Now, the question has always been that, is it how it is done in every other part of the world? What, for instance, what are the responsibilities? And that somebody felt, okay, because they are in control of so many days, let's give it to them. That's why I think that what the governor is planning or thinking of or tinkering with is about the best thing to do. NRGW, this is not your function here, so please leave it. So we can have peace. It's because access to the movement of ballot boxes and sensitive materials. They cannot intervene like that. And that is the cause of the fear. Somebody say, okay, boy, you are in charge. Somebody say, okay, you are in charge, do this for us. And I said, no. So what I think I make of these things, I pray, but it doesn't go beyond 1 or 2 days to about 10, 20 days. I next will now learn, how can we move these sensitive materials without, or the state that are doing election? And when you have them, they're a big army, and and you see the behavior, they have been helping in code. That helping in code.
I think they have the capacity.
They do.
But what I'm saying in effect is this: instead of that, if they prove to be a stumbling block to effective election now, we can drop them. Remember that when the petrol tankers went on strike, NNPC bought tankers.
Yes.
To distribute the elections. Then they plan for how to move next time.
And you think those operators will allow them to operate freely?
Who? The NRW?
Yes.
Who are they? They are union. They should be interested in the welfare of
that our
their...
politicians have, decide to infiltrate and
use them.
The contracts.
Yes.
So the thing is, they have the manpower, they have the vehicles,
They have the numbers.
they have the numbers. So it makes it very easy for INEC to work with them.
Yes, but
They-
politicians
and
have
they
now...
know the nooks and crannies of the
of the
state. They
country,
can
of
get
wherever they
materials
are,
to
yes.
anywhere, no matter how obscure.
Yes.
It's been long that we saw that, look, they've also infiltrated because it's supposed to be Union of Road Transport Workers.
It's a union.
It's supposed to be a union.
Yes.
Just like you have Fᴜဃᴜᴜ, just like you
The rest,
have... for politicians.
There's a
They
problem.
will say it doesn't matter, but there's a problem.
That's a big one.
Because there will be some members of your union who are not happy with who you are supporting.
Who are not even supporting the same party.
Union members are supposed to be
Out
neutral,
of this thing.
Out of this thing.
They're supposed to be a pressure group.
Yeah,
Kind of,
no,
yes.
pressure
Yes.
group by- so
For the interest of their members.
But what you see is that the leaders of the union have been hijacked.
Once a new governor comes, the entire
have to change
structure
it.
moves.
We go.
A new structure comes in.
That is it.
Ordinarily, what we have is an aberration, political aberration, that parks and garages are managed by local government.
Yes.
How is
At worst, local government.
no, it used to be one of their core responsibilities. Parks and garages. If you look at the function of local government, advertising, we took it away from them. Every state now has an advertising agency.
Radio.
In fact, there's no reason. Look, why can't we even have the local government managing waste?
Sure.
In when it comes to collection, the collection part of it.
Yes.
Why does it have to be a state
State
thing?
thing. So the recycling and what to do with waste. The waste to wealth initiative for me can be divided in such a way where the collection is a local government thing. Take care of your local government, buy the vehicles, charge people, make your collections, and then allow the transformation of the waste
be
into
handled by the
wealth.
state.
You can even be by a
And
private
that's,
company.
that's about 8 billion naira.
Look at what we've done. We took away the parks and garages from the local government. What we did was to eventually hand it over to union members, because the union were supposed to be a pressure group within the transport sector.
Yes, no.
It's not only NURT, you have the road transport,
Yes, no.
RTEAN.
We
That
have
one
a-
of
we
them-
have a common.
It was
Yeah,
when
yeah.
you give to them,
Yes.
it becomes a compensation for them.
That's when it now became lucrative.
Yes.
And
Then you
now
have this
became a
problem.
money
Yes,
spinning
money spinning
venture.
thing.
Because-
It's a compensation.
Okay, you are supposed to be union members, union of transport
Owners or
Owners and
workers or
workers.
whatever.
In fact, you are supposed to live majorly on union dues.
Sure.
But now you took it away from living on union dues. You now collect almost like levies from people who load vehicles. So basically, from being ordinary union members, they are now managers of our parks and garages. Again, they are not the owners of those parks and garages.
No, and they are not the owner of the vehicles.
They are not the owner of maybe some of their members own the vehicles, but they are not the owners of the parks and garages. And the question we should ask ourselves is this: is it that we have discountenanced the huge revenue that comes from that source? Is it that the state thinks it does not really matter?
You think the state does not collect those revenues?
No, maybe they have a share. The formula, the share, how it's done, nobody knows. And I know that from what we see, from the little we see of how larger than life these union members live,
There's a lot of money going in there.
It can give you an idea
Of how much they're
of how
raking.
big that industry is. I told somebody that, look, if you look at how big that industry is, I'm sure that if the revenue from that sector
It's properly accounted for.
I think if we are not building new roads with it,
It can
we
maintain our roads.
And yes,
It
It
can at
should
least
maintain
maintain
our
our
roads.
roads.
Exactly.
And so sometimes when you move around, our city, especially in Lagos and other states, and you see parks and garages, to money, and then just right there, there's a big pothole. The roads are bad,
Exactly.
and they don't care.
They don't care.
Heap of
Yes.
death there.
And they don't.
Government to come and fix those things.
So you know that between them and government, they know what they are doing.
Something
Something's going
something.
on. That we are going to have a national union of road transport workers that will be contracted by INEC that will not compromise
even the
electoral
leadership,
system.
the national leadership of NURTW, they have a case in court. Remember, about a few months ago, the court gave a judgment where they said
MC Oluomo should
exactly
vacate.
the national leadership of NURTW is now a matter that is now in court.
Okay, now look at it, Okoyemi. If election materials are to be moved by NURTW members, but then the leadership of NURTW
is factionalized.
Not only factionalized, openly declares for a party.
Oluomo wears the mandate cap everywhere.
They do it. It's not anything. They in fact, what they've done is to basically lock down the union, the parks and garages for bus owners. Again, for people who don't know, a lot of these levies are coming from commuters.
Sure.
Because basically what the drivers do is that
whatever they collect from you, they put, yes now. So, if it goes up, the cost will go up.
See, and you when you listen to the way we defend some of these things, you will know that we are not ready.
We are not there yet.
We are not there. And the sad part of the conversation is that we might not get there because we don't have people who live for causes beyond
personal interest.
We are people of. It just has to be me,
myself, and I.
I was still telling one of my cousins, very close cousins, that why is it that our politicians don't have a limit? There's no red line.
They just keep going.
They want to put
business. It's not their business.
It's not politicized.
It's not their business.
You see that there's no if you look at any community now, any state where traditional rulers are chosen without the interference of politicians, those ones have been very deliberate.
This one.
Look at the Olubadan, for example. We used to know that there was a hierarchy. There was a succession that nobody has ever touched.
You can't argue, you can't touch it.
But in recent time, politicians wanted to touch it. From Ajimobi down to this one, they were almost going to infiltrate and mess the whole thing up. Look at today. We can't even have an Awujale.
Do you know how many kings how many royals to have cases in courts? Many years that they will have regents. They will not appoint it.
Do you think it's because the Ifa
they don't have people? No.
Do you think it's because Ifa has not spoken?
there's a modern Ifa. There's a modern Ifa that must speak.
They touch everywhere. They touch our religion. They touch now the whole thing was
this candidate that came second and third. They've been all over the news discrediting the election.
Even lawyers, it's not even the
even lawyers.
But Socrates was here on Sunday. He said he could not even vote.
Yeah, voter apathy, glitches in the online voting.
They could not vote. And the allegation is that look, there was a lot of political interference.
I mean, there was a time where the office of the Attorney General of the Federation
wanted
just about a week ago wanted to get involved, and the MB said no.
So that is the bar. We've also infiltrated the bench. We are now building houses for judges. We are doing today to the extent now that on a single matter you have judgments clashing.
Judges are now queuing to collect house keys from political appointees.
They will tell you it does not matter. Asha ba gbogbo eje. Asha afe towo gbogbo e ba gbogbo as well.
Okay, we're going to leave the Osun conversation real quick, but I mean, just in 2-3 minutes, the Oni of Ife, Obadiah Yᴏᴜᴜᴜ, has appealed for peace and unity ahead of the August 15 governorship election in the Public Affairs Moses Olafari. The Oni, represented by the Lower Adimula of Ife land, Oba Adekola, the leaders visited the Oni's palace. The Oni reaffirmed his commitment to promoting peaceful coexistence irrespective of political affiliation, describing Ile-Ife as the spiritual and is befitting its historical significance. The late Oni Adesoji Aderemi served as governor of the Old Western region, and his remarkable contributions are felt not only in Ile-Ife but throughout Yoruba and Nigeria as a whole. So, I'm saying this one and this one, and it should not be happening.
It shouldn't be happening.
You know, so it's a whole lot.
You know, I was seeing the Oluwo dancing. And
that's where I'm going to now. I'm sure you saw the video I posted on my status.
It should not be happening.
The Oluwo, in fact, this young, I don't know the lyrics of that song. The Oluwo was dropping, and himself and the governor were dancing, waving, and you ask yourself.
And you know, we say these things, you know, say it would not really matter. Because I think they should dignify
themselves,
the institution. They should at least put some dignity, irrespective of how many of them emerged as traditional rulers. You know, I used to say that in one of my classes in LASU, when one of our lecturers that teaches African traditional religion was telling us about traditional rulers in Yoruba land. That once
in your lifetime,
like
then it's just like when we were spotted that
it's a big
iconic
festival
day.
so that it is not even the spirituality that comes with their
presence,
their ownership or leadership of the fact that you don't even see them. They are not to be seen anyhow.
Sacred. It's an institution that
we are getting reported cases of Obas being too available to the point that one was stuck. We have some that we now have girls doing videos of them jumping up and down in clubs.
Yes, they're taking people to court that they're cyber stalking them. Allegations of unlawful possession of certain things.
Yes. And they are the custodians of our culture and tradition.
They are deities.
But when the deity become too available,
it becomes human.
Deity wants
when deity begins to pop champagne, people party.
They say that the voice of the people is the voice of the gods. So I just hope body's life is worth sacrificing for any politician's ambition.
Just as you're saying, not just the people of Osun State, all those people who are aiding and abetting violence, they should stop.
Because they say for a masquerade to dance, somebody is somewhere beating the drum.
So they should leave Osun.
So these guys having access
is what led to this extremism we have in Nigeria. No, the insurgency.
How did Boko Haram start?
How did they get their weapons in the first place?
It was the politicians. Look at what we have today.
They suddenly discovered that with their number and with the weapons,
they could overwhelm the states.
They are an opposing army.
And because sometimes when you use these guys for election, you give them weapons.
And once
the election is done, you
how
don't collect
back. You know where they live.
So exactly, you pay them, you give them guns, they cause chaos.
You win election, you abandon them. They now face the society.
They can't even be seen around
you at all.
But you have empowered them. They've got weapons.
And then they now face the community.
They now become even a problem to you.
Yes, to you, sir. Yes, exactly.
We now start to discuss security matters again.
But you are the ones that started this off. And then we'll have more time to, begin to pull out some of the pillars that can help us to make informed decisions, like a candidate that would get the opportunity to speak to us and help us make informed decisions. So, Mainland 98.3 FM will open our campaign studios, Ballot 27, and our other political programs as well. So, we'll always welcome everyone, market to every space that involves the 2027 election. We are available for you. So let's leave Osun State for a while. Let's make a quick step to the federal capital territory in Abuja. Your life on Mainland Night guys would have one or two things to say about the state ahead of the election. All right. The controversy surrounding the alleged presidential foreign investment promotion council deepened on Tuesday as House of Representatives intensified its investigation into the disputed agencies, issuing a 14-hour ultimatum to a government agency despite questions over its legal foundation, with lawmakers examining how it appeared in official records and whether public institutions facilitated these activities. The development came amid fresh twists in the matter, including the summons of the Federal Minister of Foreign Affairs, Bianca Odumegwu-Ojukwu, by the House of Committee and SCN from the legal representation of the embattled alleged Director General of the Council, Prince Adeniyi Adeyemi. The House Ad hoc Committee investigating the alleged establishment, funding, and operation of the Council warned that defaulting MDAs that it would deploy its constitutional powers to compel compliance if they fail to appear before the committee with requested the chairman of the Ad hoc Committee, Right Honorable Yusuf Gagdi, said the refusal of
he's doing a good job on this one.
Yeah, he's undermined efforts to establish the facts surrounding the controversy and, of course, the issues on ground. Gagdi described the agency's failure to appear before the panel as a direct challenge to the constitutional oversight authorities of the National Assembly. Let me come straight to you, side forward. We can't overstate the problems that this unfortunate embarrassment had caused. And like we said on the show 2 weeks ago, this is not just about the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. It's not even just about, the reps or the office of the Attorney General of whoever. This is Nigerians. This is our reputation across the world because of the green passport. These are the issues that the global space is looking at. Like, listen, how do you allow an individual into your country, travel out to represent your country in another international, conventions,
been nominated by the National Bodies Assembly and the Senate,
by the EFCC and this office. So the entire world is watching. And now this probe is this: it's a case already in court. On that basis, we shouldn't even be talking about it. But the president had given the ICPC 30 days to investigate. Today basis. Now it looks like the frustrations that a lot of Nigerians have predicted that have made the likes of Atiku Abubakar and a few other people to demand for independent probe into these allegations. There seems to be lack of cooperation. People invited are not honoring. The House Ad-hoc committee is inviting people that are sending representatives. Does this in any way side forward build confidence that you have as a Nigerian that there will be something positive at the end of this whole thing? Or you feel it's just going to be, they always say that when you want to end the matter in Nigeria, set up a committee.
Well, it is true, because we're a country of committees.
Committee to investigate the failure of one committee.
And another committee to, when the report now comes, another committee to review the report. Another committee to also draw up a framework. Then another committee after the framework to draw up an implementation plan. I'm a bit optimistic. Again, we have to say that Honorable Gaji is doing a very good job. It appears the committee told Sage in the morning. I think at the end of the day, it will just be more of us basically identifying the problem. Would it lead to us punishing people? Is what I don't know. But ordinarily, people should be punished. And I did a solo ride from conception to delivery. So let's just get ourselves. There was no way. There's no way Adeyemi would have done all those things by himself. And I think that we've tried to clarify that. Look, the case in court is basically a case instituted against him on the criminal matters involved in this case. The idea of bribery, falsification of documents, and what have you. So the question is, how did he do all of these things? And that's why we said that, look, it would have been nice to get an independent probe.
What did some of these things? To
check these things. Remember that? It was an independent investigator was appointed to look at his activities, and based on that recommendation, it was then taken to court. But here, we appear to have jumped ship, maybe because, again, we needed to really take the man to solve a problem, is to first agree that there's a problem.
Number one, that's the beginning of intelligent action.
Intelligent action. So what is the problem that we've identified there, Opeyemi? That's the question we should ask ourselves. Because that will guide this investigation. We have a very loose system of government where all of this can happen. It's a problem that as our government, the federal secretariat, he will open an account with the CBN, he will abba. So that is the problem.
This guy hosted
with the current EFCC chairman. They issued a joint statement.
Presented awards to each other.
Okay, start from here. Now, the other problem, sir, is the way we run our budget. How do we prepare our budget? This thing we call national budget that we do every year. It has now shown that it's what it now means is that the checks that we think should go before that thing becomes law,
but probably not being done,
because what these items, how it is put together from the budget office, how ministries, agencies, and departments
submit to the ministry requisitions,
and
to the budget
and then
office
how they will have to defend it. So
subcommittees, major committees,
will have to sit
defense
on it and check the figures, and
it's a whole lot.
It's a whole lot. So for us to see now find a so-called phantom fake agency still appear. In fact, at that point, it was
23 days. He was in detention.
He was in detention before the whole thing went in.
So it was not. Even the fact that he was in detention should have been a red flag for those who were screening
the question is that so. No matter how
people are there.
People are there.
So this is how the budget structure works. The department and the agencies will submit their own budget to the ministry. So the ministry put everything together and then push it to the budget office. So they will generate. It's so bad that you need 1 million days or 10,000 people to look into it. No, they've tried to simplify it so much that you can.
The problem here is, I think the president should do much more than what he has done. It's not on this matter. Number one, if he's aware of the public perception of his administration based on issues like
some of these issues,
he should take more action. Last Friday, I was telling Lady Mo that the president needs to make a scapegoat
out of this matter.
Have where the perception of the people affects the relationship between the government and the people, they wouldn't waste time to this level.
You know, heads will be rolling by now.
By now, heads will be rolling. You know, the sacrifice will be made. You know, so the president suspension above barricade.
You don't.
No matter how you try to cover it.
No. Nothing you can use to. This has gone. And one thing the president should do is, Wike defended him. This defended him. This defended him. Now the question is, let's say, okay, everybody is defending Gbajabiamila. It's not right. Nobody has said he has done it. Yeah. But how do we arrive at that conclusion?
Have we done enough?
Let's look at the committee that screened them, for instance. This committee, the National Assembly committee that screened that. How did you pass it when you did not see the person who brought the budget? How did you recommend it to president? Oh, we have finished this screening. Please, this has gone through like this. You know. So now the perception is that everybody in government is looting because of this thing, and people are not thinking that from here, let's go back to all the departments and ministries we have and list them and know whether they actually exist. The easier way for people to steal money is to have this kind of department unchecked. And they serve for money. Everybody is interested. Whoever
died.
They go between according to the
mysteriously died.
The man in the middle died mysteriously in the hotel. The hotel caught fire and it's been demolished. He got burnt in the hotel.
Okay, this is not vanish.
Yes, now.
Tanimola don't vanish.
He got burnt in the hotel. They demolished the remaining hotel.
Did they demolish? So it got burnt.
They said they didn't get autopsy. They only were able to arrive at from witness from the owner of the hotel and his family members.
And he was the only one that died in that hotel.
No, there's no other case of anybody else that died there.
And that the hotel is demolished. Got burnt to the point where they didn't recover corpse.
Sir, why are you asking us as if we are coronas? Is this the corona office?
What I'm looking at is, you see, this thing.
Do you have any family member with Tanimola who have come out?
I don't know.
If you give or don't you have family members?
Give this.
They say Tanimola, maybe it's the name.
Two things are possible. Let me just tell you. If you have money, a president, no, when a chief judge, had to sentence his son to death, was brought before him. He was a chief judge. He brought the sentence. The son committed robbery and brought it to him.
And he was a judge.
He was a judge. There was no those who are fingered. Those who are fingered. You know. See, your administration, the perception of somebody. You understand? They said Caesar's wife must be above reproach. His administration. By asking these people, the what do you call the protagonists. You'll be shocked about the number of people that will be involved. Revelation.
You see that Tanimola that died, he will finally come out.
The second person I was going to say, the first thing that the second man, he might not have died. They have exiled him. But the fact that he should not be available to testify. He should not be. This is the mafia school. When we are saying mafia, you don't know. You just know mafia by name. You don't know how they operate.
How they operate.
Criminal experts. They just kill him. He cannot operate, and they might be shocked. I use the word "might" from experience. The man would have been leaking out this information to a trusted friend, like this. The investigation will now come and pick that person and say, "Look, that is when those people who feel that they have covered all their traps, somebody will emerge." They'll be shocked. Give this case to FBI. That we're talking about independent investigators. Give it in this case. So I sympathize with Mr. President. His administration is being viewed, wrongly, and he's what do you call it? Slapping the people involved on their wrists. That's not what it is.
Well, and talking about Alero, he has something to say. What would come back? I will look at the other story. As of the 8 billion religious project in the 2026 budget is raising a lot of concerns. And I would also take you back to another space in the budget to commission road and electrification project in Ekiti, Ogun, and Sokoto. And then the Almajiri School had come and said that this is not on us.
How they enter, we don't know.
We'll talk about that when we come back. Stay with us.
Good Good afternoon, Mr. President. And I want to use this medium to talk to you. Please look at the youth of Nigeria. We are really suffering.
Politics plays its part in everything that defines us as a sovereign entity. Isn't it right even deeper?
Nigeria are suffering. The suffering is too much.
When it comes to the complexities of politics, we strive to give it clarity, to deepen your understanding as the listener.
The decisive factor will be knowledgeable leadership committed to good governance.
Make it a date with 괏ᴜᴇᴇᴅ and Saeed Fuad on Midweek Politics every Wednesday from 1 to 3 p.m. on your top dial, Mainland 98.3 FM. Politics, it's a whole meal.
Political enemies, they don't want you to succeed. Have you just realizing that? No matter what I do, they will still abuse me.
Things they spoil more and more. And as time they go, children they die more and more. No food to eat, no light to see.
Of serious concern to Nigerians. What I'm saying is in the public domain. It's not anything hidden. When this government came in, it inherited, I think, over 75 trillion naira. Now it has added almost 75 to 80 trillion naira in borrowing. And despite this, budget implementation is nowhere where we want it to be, as said by the Chief Whip of the Senate. We have not even started implementing the 2026 budget.
Thank you very much and welcome back. That was the senator representing Kebbi Central, our senatorial district, our Senator Adamu Alero, raising concerns about the borrowing of the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And the last line of that insight was what I actually wanted to bring to the notice. This is July. Today is the 22nd day of July. And the senator just told us that we have not started implementing the 2026 budget. And this is Senator Adamu Alero is raising this concern, saying that, listen, the last administration left about 70 trillion debt, and this administration had gotten between 70 to 80 trillion more. But the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Tᴏɪᴜᴇᴜ, had come out to say that Nigeria is side forward. A lot of people had questioned the transparency around our budget. Why is there so much secrecy? I mean, the budget should be an item in the public, affect the public. People should be able to have unrestricted access to those things. And that's why they said the budget can, amended. So why do we really have to go through the point that at every single conversation we're questioning the transparency on the constitution? Of the budget. After Public Accountability Group Tracker disclosed that 8.05 billion was earmarked for the construction, renovation, and equipping of churches and mosques, despite mounting fiscal pressures and a widening budget deficit. A tracker is an initiative of the Budget Foundation and said the review of the proposed 6.14 billion for 52 mosque projects across several ministries and agencies without direct responsibility of the religious affairs. A tracker also went on to say that allocations cover the construction and rehabilitation of worship centers, solar power installation, borehole, music equipment for churches, carpets, imam residencies, facilities for Islamia schools. Amongst the projects identified were 1 billion for musical. Keep that in one hand. Let me bring you another one. Okay. A public outrage also came up in this same July last week over the discovery of 8.4 billion out of the 22.8 billion budget for the National Commission for Almajiri and Out of School Children. It was discovered that 8.4 billion was allocated for unrelated projects like road construction, solar street light, and ambulances. And the commission had clarified that the lawmakers were the ones that inserted this constituency project into their own budgets. 22.8 billion budget commission set up to reduce the number of adult school children in the north specifically. But now they said that 8.4 billion was inserted in the budget to commission road and light project in Ekiti, Ogun, and Katsina. So I'm trying to understand how Almajiri School is involved with building road and commissioning project. Now the commission had come out to say that our job is not to commission project. Our job is to educate and rehabilitate Nigeria's vast population of out-of-school children, and they've distanced themselves from the controversial capital project. In a public statement issued by the project incorporated into the 2026 Appropriation Act, the Commission argued that it is legally obligated to execute this project as mandated by existing budgetary and procuracy practices. However, this extra budgetary provision did not come from us.
Now, now with all this thing, are you surprised about the springing up of a fake agency?
No.
Are you surprised?
No.
It's in line. It's just in line with this, that this is federal purse, we should consume it. Yes, that we should, this federal, we should consume it.
Now collabo.
It's collabo. Now we, when I say we, the media, we have not been doing our job from day one. It's now we are just coming out, based on these people's response. They don't even think of members of the public or the generality of the public, in which case, once the executive brings a budget proposal, you shouldn't add your own. Because the collection of materials for the budget would have been published to everybody, every department, whether National Assembly, whatever they are, So whatever you think is due or that you need in your area, put it to president, and not just Tinubu. It was there in Buhari's time, it was there in Obasanjo's time, it was there in Jonathan's time, it was there in Yar'Adua's time. But we have not been looking at these things. We are supposed to the media is supposed to scrutinize these things and bring out the faults one by one. Then when righteousness starts coming up like this, there'll be fear for all these things. If the direct approach does not work, the direct
can hide under agency's funding.
You and the rest of them. Now, what we need to find out whether I'm not sure the 1.3 billion has been released to the agency.
I'm not sure it has, because the CBN said that the domiciliary account they open is not operational.
So what I've just read, what you read out, is just part of the system of the culture in Nigerian government. It's not like that. The reason is that the civil servants are allowed to talk. They said, keep our secret. That's what we have in public service. So you don't have amble on it. Two things are waiting you. They buy you into it or they kill you. That's the risk of a journalist, an investigative journalist too. Either they buy you, life goes into it. The rate at which corruption is in Nigeria today, anything is possible. Even you that are saying this thing, you have to be very careful about it. But then you have taken the oath or whatever, the decision to serve the public on this other side of the divide. That's what it is. So look at what is happening. Look at the church. Under what budget? Under what subhead?
They want to buy equipment of 1 billion.
The church thing was under, one of them was under Ministry of Labor.
Church don't become labor ministry.
It's the labor of the work of. It's the labor. It's the vineyard now.
All this is
painful. And I need people to pay attention to what we are saying. In our Yoruba program, you say, I hope we are not just suffering in vain. Because this is the government that tells you it is pain before pleasure. It is darkest before dawn. That these reforms will bring pain, but endure with a promise that tomorrow will be better. Okay, from these things you are seeing, where is that tomorrow? From what has been revealed so far about how we are appropriating what is supposed to be scarce resources, it's a little less than 70 trillion, about 68 point something trillion. Okay, are you aware that there's a deficit of 31.445 trillion? That one is still there that we don't even know.
We don't know.
How then do you crazily go on appropriations like this?
Tell me.
It is pure madness if a country has almost 50% budget deficit, and then that same country, now begins to budget. It's possible.
It's very possible
that you have a budget surplus.
There are a lot of countries around the world.
So
they're even building future cities because they don't have anything to build
maybe
again.
As a country, we are so rich to the point where you don't even know where to put the money. But we might begin to permit some of this and say, well, but a country that is telling its people
to endure,
tighten your belt.
It's going to be tough. We are reforming, without to be pain. That same country is busy padding budget with ridiculous, fraudulent appropriations and items. Look, 1.91 billion. They say out of that 1 billion is for musical instruments. I don't know.
Is it for the national church or for how many churches?
One church.
The national church.
No, it's not national church. The American Center is not up to 1 billion naira.
And we are not sure that his entire musical instrument, that's even one of the biggest musicians in Nigeria today. I am not sure that all the instruments can be up to 1 billion naira.
1 billion is?
How much more a church?
100 million in 10 places. Abia North. In Zamfara North.
See,
this is not just being unnecessarily critical. It is about us. You see, because of the job we do.
It's about the reasonableness.
It is being reasonable. Somebody now jumped on this. I was listening when I finished my analysis this morning. Do you know what somebody jumped on and said? That even in America, like Nigeria, that has huge infrastructure deficit, that has huge deficit in healthcare, huge deficit in education, a country that cannot even fund its own budget. You can see the senators asking why we are not able to fund our budget. Okay, as we speak, we are even running budget into budget.
Yes.
Because we cannot even fund the budget.
Senator Damon
said was that, well, there were debt obligations, there were statutory payments,
and because of the naira devaluation.
So that's what he said. But the reality is that as we speak, we are running budget into budget. Should that country now have these kinds of reckless provisions in our budget? What is your business with? And to see some people listen to come and make nonsensical arguments. Even the US that person mentioned, where the funds will, they will never. It is not under there. More like maybe you are feeding the poor. You are providing shelter for the homeless. So if there are activities of no, you cannot with public funds. So you see people jump on issues without even understanding.
Not even directly by government.
It's not even so. And you'll be surprised that there are even
some bodies,
donor organizations, donor agencies who take up these responsibilities.
Yes.
Let us even now say that in America they are even building churches and mosques for their people. Are we at their level?
Not at
Look
all.
at the level of infrastructural deficit we have in the country. So in terms of priority, how is buying musical instruments? So basically,
the senator from Bauchi,
it might be the presentation of Ningi. He didn't know how to really say it.
Yes.
That it appears that
because the budget that they submitted to us that is available to the public is not the ones that Senate Committee on Budget and Appropriation is having with them.
I know we are
not generally, at least on this budget.
Okay, every year when the budget is prepared, we try to do a review, and what we do is, because again these items are so big. I don't know how many pages. Sometimes you have about 280 pages of budget items, and these things are, medicines are parasitas. You have to read through. So a lot of times you see that we just pick and choose when these things come up to analyze them. There will be light at the end of the tunnel. Where is the light now with this, with what we are seeing? And that's what I'm saying.
So that we don't just keep walking the tunnel without.
That's what I'm saying. This idea of let's tighten our belt, even though the government has not shown any desire for sacrifice. Look at where we are, and that's why I told a few people, Oyedele cannot make sense to me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Talk about macro from now till tomorrow. You cannot have this level of recklessness. People, when we are buying 1 billion
equipment,
and then somebody is telling me about America. How does that even make any sense?
Well, at the end of the day, we'll continue to do our best. We can only hope that our best is enough to question the commitment.
If I was having a conversation before the show with Jay and others, the things we hear and the things we see, we cannot bring on. Sir.
Who's checking the subnational?
States.
Even your local government chairman, you'll be shocked. As what your local government chairman are doing.
So can you now see where we have government, but the people are suffering? Big money. Nobody knows what is happening with their money.
And we've crossed into the half of the year. We're in the other half of the year to 22nd day of July 2026. And a serving senator, a ranking member of the National Assembly is coming out to say that we have not even started implementing the 2026 budget. So, well, we allow you to join the conversation.
According to him, we have to roll over 70%
of the 2025 budget
into 2026.
Yes.
70%. And he's asking, why are we not funding the budget? Why can't we fund the budget? What is going on? Subsidy is gone. You have said that customs have made their target and extend.
So where are these monies?
Where are these monies?
We struggling to fund the budget?
Without details, we need to see the details of the things he's saying. It's not finance. The only thing he said is that, he said every debt servicing. When we tell them that we have a debt problem, they say no. But now he's now saying that about personnel costs. Then he talked about other statutory obligations. You can see what even the senator said. That last month we made about 3.something trillion. Why? We told you why? What are the obligations? Can we see the fine details? Nobody's answering anybody. Oᴘᴇyēmi. Nobody's talking to anybody. And these are public funds. It's not their personal money.
Even sending kuli. And it's a lot of conversation when we expect so much from these people, and you tighten my belt means that you don't even mean well for me.
And he's losing his own.
He does not even wear belts.
I would even see the example from you.
I believe you lead by example.
How you lead by example?
Somebody says something that just 7 years ago, you can buy a car with that right now as a country, in case some of us don't understand. For people to say, I prefer to be earning 100,000 20 years ago than earn 500,000 now. Maybe you don't understand where we are as a people. We'll now make it 500 so that it will look bulky.
You know what? I was jokingly telling a friend that when you see our musicians, now before we used to spray money. But now you can't spray.
Yes,
value.
It's zero value.
Exactly.
That's what it means.
That means somebody can use a bag to bring 10 million to a party and drop it.
So the bundle 1,000,
that's 1 million. That means if you give someone 10, that's 10 million.
If they truly have money, those people that do these things, they should do dollars like that. Bundle of $100.
To a party with a bag, and I give someone one bundle of 1,000. That's 1 million.
If they truly have money,
they should try with dollars. And let's pick some calls. Well, in case you're just joining us and you're wondering what are these guys doing, well, you missed. But every Wednesday, we August 15, 2026, coming election in Osun State, and then we appeal to everyone involved. To discovery. let's just pick the cause, because 120 minutes of hardcore political conversation. We put all of the numbers on the table. We roll all of the the every component and element of the news story. It is called midweek politics. Thank you very much. Let's pick your call 0913-600-0410. Start our election studios open. Ballot 27. You saw what we did in Ballot 23 as we touched every single state and deputy governorship candidate across different political parties. This year will not be any difference because we are coming as the least that we can provide for the society. 0913-600-0410. Good afternoon to you.
Hello, good afternoon.
You're welcome. Your name and where are you calling from?
Yes, the general.
How are you?
I'm fine, sir. Oga Fuad. All this revelation that we are talking about, talk like this, who do us this? In fact, when I listen to that senator from Borno, the budget implementation and all these things is going on. Why did the senators and the House of Reps kept? I told they are partners in business. So what have they been doing all this while that it is now they are bringing all these issues, deceiving ourselves? And the president himself is keeping quiet on this issue. That is why I said something the other day when he said he gives 30 days to ICPC to investigate this matter, and somebody that is directly involved in that issue. Finger has been rolled.
Thank you very much. Please, I want us to stick to our committee.
Right, and Mr. Martin, good afternoon from Oba.
Good afternoon.
Fuadu, is this the kind of democracy they have in Nadeko against the government of Aba? Is this the kind of democracy you have in mind? You didn't answer me.
How would I know?
We don't know. We're not in their minds.
At that time, you were not a small boy.
We know, but they are the only ones that can answer. I can't answer for them.
No, they're now changing.
You cannot say it's been you cannot say it's been circumvented because you don't know.
Above 60 plus. I can't imagine that the type of this democracy they are operating now is what they have in.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon. Chibike from Oba.
You're welcome, Mr. Chibike.
What Nigeria done for you, then think about what you do for Nigeria. So, in country where they used to buy school in a budget with 1.5 billion, because my grandfather used to say during their days, The media don't do to get information. You have the information to. Thank you. That's my contribution.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chibike from Mogba. Let's pick more calls. 09136000410. We're just taking your rest. So looked at the embattled DG for the PFIPC. What are your take on some of the things that we've discussed today?
Hello.
Okay. It seems we can't establish the same line of communication. Would appreciate if we can still call back. 09136000410. Good afternoon. Welcome to me.
Nobody can change it. But the truth can change people. Number one, I want you journalists to have a kind of, maybe through the end, you have to protect yourself. That's number one. Number two, as regards the blue, the down and low, they know what they are doing. God bless.
And God bless. I would have loads of messages here to be. Good afternoon, gentlemen. Nigeria's situation is truly pathetic. 8 billion had been budgeted for mosques and churches, while the federal government appears clueless about the killings in Osun State. Our leaders, foreign investigators, and you find out that the so-called Tanimola assumed to have died in an hotel is cooling off in one of the foreign islands because they know that the budget would not be read. We need technocrats to bail us out of this gangsterism. Thank you very much, Ifeanyi from Asheshe. I'm trying to, read a couple of messages before we come back to picking your calls. Good afternoon, mainland. Baba, I've programmed this country not to work until all of us wake up and take our country back. Nothing is working. There's hunger in the land and there's lamentably. I told Sage this morning that I regard for the House of Reps and for the Senate agency, we need to find out who the person is and who those people are. The only way that we can do that and get a meaningful result that is capable of mailing everyone found guilty is if we get independent and they're all appointees of the government. The appointment of former Governor Fauci is purely political and compensation for support. He has said earlier that he doesn't need any appointment for supporting Tinubu in 2023. 8 billion naira for religious project, Mr. Okpa. I'm not bothered which ministry is handling the project. I don't think the government should be responsible for building churches or mosques. It is wrong. And if the president is not aware before he signed it, it is of we may have to deal with soon. Okay, thank you very much, James Ogbuna from Oshodi. I've always questioned why we want to become an allergist or personal ambition in life. State money should not be used to sponsor that. Well, a good afternoon, crew. It's a shame that the worst of us is really the best of us. Okay, I mean, it's crazy for some element to base that instead of balanced reporting, trust the media is weakened. A strong journalist informs the public with facts, present different perspectives fairly, and allow people to reach journalism annoying and disgusting. Well, first off, let me educate him.
Again, today,
I don't know what we've said on this platform today.
And if you had listened very well with an open mind, with an educated mind, where are the fine figures? Where are the details of those obligations, those deductions? That's the time.
All right, this is Chris Okay from Ikeja. I'll come back and pick your messages. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
You're welcome.
Building factories, while Nigerians are building churches and musical instruments, while our youth are dying. That thing, what I want to say is that let our politicians know hit of this policy. What do you expect from Nigerians to see from to you? I was a nylon producer. Now I'm picking iron, scrap. Iron knock my vein. I spend not less.
Okay, he's also texting us, and it's good afternoon to you, super forward and Mr. Kudwa. After on this DME saga, nothing good will come out of it because the corruption has eaten deep into every aspect of us being a people. Go very much, Mr. Fuad, for unbiased analysis, and to the gentlemen in the studio. I will for this country town. Good afternoon to you, the three musketeers. Yusuf. Concerning the traditional rulers, there's been communities without any historical ancestral origin to any empirical stool becomes balanced and not by any government, be it military or democracy. And even in the international level, Nigeria has fallen totally. No more respect for culture and tradition. A man can lose everything, but not his culture and tradition. Your tradition is your 410. Keep the calls coming in. We try and pick as much as we can. Hello, good afternoon. Your name and where you calling from?
Yeah, my name is Chris. I'm calling from Ojo.
Okay.
I think that Gbajabiamila Miller should have stepped down because he has a direct, he's directly involved in. There's an allegation.
Yeah, so I think an allegation. It's an allegation.
he should have stepped aside, because I think the problem we have in Nigeria is that people do things as a minister in Nigeria. You look at the other sector where there is you go to UCPDM and dragging the Assistant Inspector General of Police over the issue, and since that matter, I've not seen the Inspector General of Police arrest him or like drag him or take him to court.
Thank you very much. Julius from Shomolu is texting and says, good afternoon to the three wise men in the studio. The issue of corruption in the budget. This is an outrage against the Tinubu government that has allocated 22.15 billion to build and renovated 106 palaces nationwide. There is another plan to embezzle public funds. God save our land. That is Julius from Shomolu. Thank you. Do you guys sure there's anybody called Tanimola in the first place? Okay. I think the ICPC should step aside for an interview from Ijanikin. Good afternoon to your Mr. Fuad and Mr. Matthew Okodwa. It is so hurtful in your analysis of. Good afternoon to you guys. Regarding the musical instruments religious houses, you are talking about, it is not about the instrument or the religious houses itself, but simply corruption. If it has to be tied to a project, to us, to you.
Good afternoon,
You're welcome.
I love my heart for every one of you in the studio.
Thank you.
Well done. So a quick one.
Your name and where are you calling from?
This Mr. James. A lot that there is what is called misplaced priority. We know we have so many other challenges, infrastructural deficit and all of that. And we are pursuing what we shouldn't have. Okay, looking from this service-wide vote, there's money, the increase on it. Imagine the mass increment, and we don't know how this money is being spent. We don't know how this money goes about. All we know is 4 billion naira saga in petroleum. So you find that we have so many things we are wrestling with. So let me run quickly before Mr. Mafam will come and educate and inform us, because the only one that is more knowledgeable and well informed. This is Nigeria for you.
Mr. James, thank you very much. Prince from Yanokbaja says, good afternoon to you. Great. How do we have a budget for World Cup that we did not partake in? That is another scandal aside for Matthew Koda that nobody is talking about. We persecuted a qualifier that we did not, we didn't come out of the World Cup qualifier.
Well, somebody said it was anticipatory budgeting.
In case we go to the World Cup.
Because, we are from. Okay. So it was anticipatory budgeting.
Okay, so now that we did not qualify, I hope they will.
No, they said, maybe me.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Payami. I'm Mr. Fuad. Good afternoon.
Your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Alhaji Suwa.
You're welcome.
Yes, please, good enough, Mr. Fuad is a Muslim. When I see the responsibility of government to be building mosques.
I don't know.
And I'm very sure, Mr. Fuad.
Is this? I know that in some countries, they might indulge and engage in things like that. But Nigeria at this stage should not be getting involved in things like that. There are more serious things to do. How do you send people on Hajj in a state where there are no functional public health centers? How does that even cold and fever can kill people in that community because there are no functional medical centers? And then you are sending people on Hajj.
Is that
wherever it is?
We need to go, guys. We need to go. But let me touch a couple of the messages that we have on Facebook so that it doesn't look like we've ignored those ones. Okay, at the end of that tenure, that's John Bernard. You guys are doing a great job. But please, our government listening to the radio, to the watch TV, to the read news, to involve the NRTW and RTEA and other transports. The should be used to repair roads, minor bridges, street light, etc. That's Samuel Ajayi from Ikeja. Apologies because they are available. Thank you. And I'm sure we'll have more of you as we build up to the 2027 election. And boy, conversation where we get to discuss issues like this from Sunday Political Roundtable every Monday to Thursday. So, next up is the boss. We have a big guest joining Jaydan and BB couple of years. She's going to be live in the studio this afternoon on the boss. Join Jaydan, the good guy with the burning tension, and his beautiful co-host. And by 5:30, we'll have the Mainland FM Global News. And by 6 o'clock, we'll have the midweek edition of Sports Cruise on Mainland on Shenanigans. So we'll have a full spectrum of programs to help you navigate your Wednesday. My name is Oᴏᴜᴜ Akirete Wednesday, same time, 1 p.m., same station. Your Super Dial Milan 98.3 FM. Stay around.